Sometimes a cinematic masterpiece is created and the masses fully accepted as an instant classic. And then there's Cats. Meow, let's not go and catcall this an instant classic just yet because, what the heck even happened in this movie? Can someone help me explain this sexy nightmare I just witnessed?
Well, hopefully that's where I come in. I'm Triv, and Jared was good enough to let me tag along. Now, I'm not kidding around when I say I'm mostly impervious to what the movies. Our goal is to whisker you away and make sure you're feline good.
So let's dive into this litter box of details and explain this cultural phenomenon in the best way possible. Sit back and relax, because we're all just Jellicle cats. Getting right into Cats, we are shown the dark, dreary streets of what we now know is London.
I love the places you can go in London. There's the Royal Claw, the Grand Pharaoh Hotel, and the Meow Club. Just take my advice and avoid the Milk Bar. Things get a little weird over there.
As a car pulls into the alley, it is revealed a young kitten has been discarded by what appears to be a 40-foot woman, or according to Deuce Bigalow, male gigolo.
That's a huge bitch!
The young cat turns out to be named Victoria, as all of the other street cats begin to introduce one another. There's Mr. Mistopheles, Munklestrap, Demeanor, Angela, Pamela, Sandra, Rita, and as I continue, you know they're getting sweeter.
So what can I do? I really bag you, my lord.
Sorry about that, but they explain everything to Victoria, from the Jellicle ball to Macavity to the Heaviside layer. These are huge plot devices that we need to mention. For example, what is a Jellicle? Well, according to the movie, Jellicle is mentioned or sang a total of 273 times, so obviously it is an important word in this cat's world. And somehow context clues key in that Jellicles are and Jellicles do, while other times it is said that Jellicles do and Jellicles would, and yet again it is said Jellicles would and Jellicles can, but most importantly, Jellicles can and Jellicles do. Perhaps Jellicles is just a term of endearment. Like when your wife wears a nice dress and asks how she looks, you respond, "Baby, you look absolutely Jellicle."
So would you say that it's not a good idea to do a shot every time the word Jellicle comes up? Cause that seems like a generally bad idea. Like the kind of idea that leads into thinking that these mice and cockroaches look ready for the big screen.
We'll get into those pests later, because this Jellicle mystery goes one further. As we break down the word into its prefix and suffix. Jellicle. We have gel and a cull. Searching on the interwebs, gel has a long time mystery around it, but other words like jelly, jello, and jellyfish all contain something a bit free-flowing to jive back and forth, to not fit sharply into any one container. So as you can see, gel means free-spirited, moving freely without bounds. But the tougher part of this word is a cull. Again, many websites were a dead end for us, but we were able to tie down the origin as French with a Latin origin. And other words with the suffix of "acol" were used to tie down the meaning as well. For example, icicle and testicle, each consisting of something different but protruding downward sharply, or to hang low. This was a huge breakthrough in our discovery of Jellicle, which can now be tied down as free-moving, non-malleable object that protrudes or hangs low. Is Jellicle a euphemism for penis?
That may be the modern interpretation of the word, but the origin of cats and the Jellicle cats themselves is mentioned in the T.S. Eliot 1933 poem Five Finger Exercises. But they weren't properly described until Song of the Jellicles, where they're depicted as black and white scruffy cats. They were given further characterization in Andrew Lloyd Webber's stage musical Cats. Character names originated from Eliot's book of poems, other Eliot works, or just made up for the musical. So what does all this mean? Hell if I know. Jared's got a better sense of plot than I do, but I do feel like a massive amount of it has to do with Jason Derulo's dancing.
No!
Unfortunately, I did. All of these felines are essentially in a big American Idol, America's Got Talent competition in London, so not that American at all, each having their own talents. Mr. Mistopheles is the magical cat, Gus Asparagus is the theatrical cat, Rum Tum Tugger is a curious cat, which somehow is a talent in this world, and Jenny Anydots has a talent for wearing clothes?
I'm normally not one for clothes on cats, but here I'm kinda generally glad they do, with the exception of this overly spangly ensemble. McCavity looks straight up naked without his styling trench coat and fedora. How would Bumberlarina show off her tiger stripe fur without her complimentary zebra print heels? I don't even want to think about Bustopher Jones without his spats. And porn stash. And Gus the theater cat without something covering his constant scratching? Well, that's downright scary to consider. Hey Jared, does it strike you as strange how many cats wear fur coats? I mean, tennis shoes, bellboy pants, and sequin jackets I get, but fur coats?
Honestly, I'm not surprised anymore. Cats are unzipping their fur to reveal a fur jacket under their fur. What are the rules of this world? This is going to lead to me drinking again. I don't know. Basically, whoever wins this talent competition is sent off to the Heaviside Layer, which we'll get into very soon, and start a new life. But in order to win, they have to be chosen by the one and only Deuteronomy.
We're introduced to Judi Dench, who pulls a straight-up Queen Elizabeth-style performance. All that aside, I am left wondering if Judi Dench is the cat lady of the greater Cats universe.
The CCU? The Cats Cinematic Universe? Meow, that sounds like a good time.
If there's one thing you definitely need in a musical about gifted cats vying for a trip to whatever the Heaviside Layer is, it's a nutshot. You need style and class brought into a scene. And then you go with a classic technique. A close second is the use of recreational drugs like catnip among young impressionable cats. And I gotta ask, when did this movie turn into a drug awareness PSA?
More than likely when the studio realized everyone was going to see this film turned up on marijuana or got real crazy with Pop Rocks and Mountain Dew, which statistically took more lives in the mid-90s than any other form of drug. Anyways, approaching the end of the film, Jennifer Hudson's street cat, Hussy McBlowskis, breaks out in one of the most beautiful and heartbreaking songs.
Now, on the subject of music, I have to wonder if they employed real cats for the cat sounds on the soundtrack, or if they went the cheap route and used pre-made cat sound effects. Look Here Cats movie, they may be able to get away with that on the Meow That's What I Call Catsmith CD, but you just don't do that with a musical about singing cats. You do the legwork and you employ actual cats.
Anyways, Hussy McBlowskis wins the Jellicle Ball and is granted access to the Heaviside Layer, where cats are said to be reborn and become what they really want to be. As Blowskis hops into the chandelier hanging above the room, which was a huge missed opportunity not to feature Sia's chandelier, giant balloons are inflated and the chandelier turns into a giant hot air balloon drifting into the unknown on its way to the Heaviside Layer. Hussy McBlowski's dream has come true. The end. Whoa, hold up. What is the Heaviside Layer and what happens? It can't end there. Well, if we take a closer look at this cycle of birth, rebirth, rinse, and repeat, the final shot of McBlowskis ascending into the clouds, some might say up to the Heaviside Layer to therefore live a better life. So the Heaviside Layer is actually a reference or interpretation of heaven. So all of these cats are striving to go to heaven. But if the Heaviside Layer is heaven, what is all of the junkyard considered, and what are the cats doing there? If we dive into the world of sacrifice and religion, there's this concept called purgatory, a place between heaven and hell where you are stuck waiting and waiting and waiting, much like a doctor's office. Which, if this is the case, we can infer that all of the cats in this movie are dead, being delivered to the afterlife via car to the junkyard, aka purgatory, waiting for their final judgment. You know what Cats is? Cats is just another rip-off version of ABC's Lost. Think about it, the plane and the car, the island and the junkyard, McCavity and the smoke monster, this cat and this guy. Think about it, Lost is Cats, but with people. Or it's just a cocaine-fueled 80s musical with sexy-ass cats made to make you think. man, that somehow took on a cult following through the years. I mean, either or. So that is it, the ending interpretation of this 80s musical Cats, one of the most popular musicals of all time, finally brought to the big screen. What did you guys think of this interpretation? Do you very much lean towards that heaven, purgatory, afterlife setting, or is this a completely different story? I want to know in the comments down below. Anyways though, as always, thank you so much for watching, and a big thank you to Trivial Theater for coming over and helping out with this video. Some fun stuff. This was a great collaboration. Check out all of her weird and wacky and fun videos down in the description down below. Thank you again, I appreciate it so much. But if you like this video, there's more videos right over there, more videos right up there. Like this video, like this channel, share this channel out, and until next time, there's going to be plenty more of these ending explained poorlies.